All right, everyone, we are back online. There were some technical difficulties, but just like my name, comma, it continues to go on. So we're not stopping just in the middle of this and say that it's over. The tears were about to drop, but I had to remember that I'm grown. I can get through this. So anyway, we're back on, all of us. Guys, if you're not talking, let's mute let's mute. I'm going to close out some of my other things because it looks like I'm jumping a little bit. So if you have some windows open and you're jumpy too like me, then just close it out. I think we're good and we're clear. All right, well, we're going to get back into talking with Ed C. Williams in regards to community. My question, I wasn't on, but I want to know, what are you guys doing in the communities and how you're going to be able to help?
Oh, absolutely. The main thing is just showing people, not just telling them, but showing them how collaboration works. You know, when we're on stage and we're in the community as men, and we're showing people that, hey, there's no egos, there's no megos. We are working together to make all of us go. And again, as I said, we stay in our lanes. And when people see that, and they understand that if they're making it work, I can make it work. Everybody think that I got to get my piece of the pie. I got to get my piece of the pie. Hey, the pie is big enough for everybody to get a piece. You know what I'm saying? And my story may not resonate with you, but Dr. Womack's story may resonate with you. McClellan's story may resonate with you. All our goals, no matter what we are doing, the bottom line and the ultimate goal is to get everyone that we meet, everyone who comes to our presence, to live their best life, to live the life they really want to live. And I don't care who motivates you. And I think that I said it for all five of us. We don't care where the motivation comes from, as long as you get motivated.
Yes.
If I don't resonate with you and you don't want to do it, I'll bring Brother McClung. He tell you, as long as you get motivated and inspired to go do the things in life that you were meant to be, because this is the bottom line. Until you become the person you was meant to be, you will never have the things you were meant to have. So we, as men, should come up together and show everyone, hey, it's possible to move together and still achieve individually the things you want to achieve. Because here's the thing. Life is an individual journey, but you cannot take it alone. You gotta have help along the way.
Yes, very, very true. I'm excited to hear that you guys are going out to show people that this can be done. Right now, I'm focusing on the youth. I'm actually getting into my kids' high school because there's so much going on, and I'm working with the young girls starting Monday. I'm starting the girls club under my nonprofit because they're having problems with coming together and working together, because all they do is we're as females, you men know, and I'm going to admit it, nobody wants to admit it, we can be very chatty and gossipy and busybodies, and that's why I stick to myself, because I don't want to get caught up in that. I have, and it doesn't feel good. So now what I'm doing is going back into the community myself, trying to help young girls and let them know that there's better in life other than just hanging with people that are bringing you down. And it's good to see that you all are rising. And with that said, John, I want to ask you a question. Now, you and we met from the last year, Shay and Trevor, we were in the group that they had, and that's where you and I met. And I remember you kind of just getting started, but you have you've written a book since then. Now you're part of the Men of Vision. And I know your computer got cut off right before mine did. How does that feel? Because it's only been a year and a half, or a little over a year and a half, and now you're doing some wonderful things. So why don't you share with the audience how you feel?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking that. And one of the things that's cool is that you can actually look back at what you've done and kind of have a timestamp. So from our first conversation, as far as the interview that we did and the timestamp to now, we both can see the progress that we made, and being a part of this group has really kind of like accelerated that. In the beginning of this year, I joined the Reuben West Black Belt Speakers, so now I'm in the speaking arena, and as well as with the brothers that I have on here. One of the other things was I initially had a book prior to, as far as the manuscript, and one of the goals for this year was to have or be an author, and with the help of my team and especially Johnny Mack, that happened. And then to add on to that, now a collaborative author with these brothers, which is so that I'm a best-selling author twice, and then I'm about to be in another collaborative book with the Black Belt Speakers. So I'm going to be a 3-time author this year, and that is in itself that is it's unimaginable when you first think of it from a standpoint of what could be possible. So those who are watching, even when you don't think that the small dreams or visions that you have are possible, continue to follow through. And the reason you follow through is because when you have it out there in the atmosphere, God allows the individuals that are supposed to be attached to you to attach to you. And these four brothers, we are attached at the hip, and each one has in their own way. And in a reference to your community question, one of the things that I like is that all 5 of us have different platforms, and it's so cool to see Man Rise Up with Dr. Womack, and we know all the other 4 brothers are going to support Man Rise Up, as well as Unstoppable Coaching when Brother Terrence talks about being unstoppable. All of us have something in reference to being unstoppable. The Power Life brother, Ed Williams, everything that he is associated with in reference to Power Life, we jump in full force with them. And as well as what Johnny Mack has done with SPAN, and talking about how to become a best-selling author in a short period of time, all of us have experienced that. So in itself, when we, from where I have in a year and a half ago to now, even with the clothing line, with 50+ designs and being able to help these brothers bring theirs to life in apparel says a lot, because I would have never been on their team had I not become a man of vision to be able to help them out as well. So it's been transforming, it's been life altering, and it's cool to watch it. It's a great journey.
Well, it's great to hear you're talking about the T-shirts. I'm actually working on something for myself, so we'll definitely be talking to see how we can collaborate. And even with the book, I'm writing a book. I have 2 books that I've started. And I will be upfront and honest. We start something and we don't finish. That's me. I need to finish these 2 books. And the purpose of the show is to show people, let people know, especially people like myself, it encourages me to go and move forward, because I see where you were, I see where you are, and I see that it's possible. So for those that are listening and watching, it is not possible for you to come across great men like this or start your own. There's enough in this world, there's enough space in here for you to utilize. There's so many cities and states and communities that you can go into, so please don't ever say it's not possible, because if I can do it, I know that you can do it as well. Dr. Womack, I want to speak to you. You were my last the last Men of Vision that I actually interviewed almost a year ago, last December, before the year ended. And since then, you've gotten married. You're part of the Men of Vision. I see you're speaking. You're doing some great things. How have this affected your life with the Men of Vision, and where do you see Men of Vision going?
So first and foremost, I have to be open and honest. I can't imagine, nor do I try to imagine where the Men of Vision might be. And I say that from spirituality, because in my journey I've learned not to put limits on our Creator. And as being Christian, we realize that book, the undisputed #1 bestseller, it says that if you seek Him, He will provide to you exceedingly and abundantly above all that you can even ask or think. And that's not an exact, but I think I managed to paraphrase it appropriately. And so because of what I have personally experienced, what we have collectively experienced, what we show in the community, where we're going, I don't think that's a fair question, not to be sarcastic, but because we have taken on the concept of surrounding ourselves with dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, we've surrounded ourselves with those that can see the greatness within each of us, even when we can't see it ourselves. So in response to that question, all I see is greatness. I think we all need some shades, because the future's so bright. Ain't no telling where we might end up. And so in all fairness, I would have to say, the sky is the limit. We're unstoppable. We each value the testimonies that we have. We seek the counsel of one another. And by being in this union of such amazing synergy. And see, I didn't say synergy, I said in the midst of such amazing synergy.
Yes.
There's just no telling where this group and this movement might go. That would be my response. I don't know how others feel, but I dare not try to put limits on it. I know we're moving forward. I know we're accelerating, and I know that the Creator is just opening up doors, such as even here being tonight on Kama Speaks. This is definitely yet another step forward that we hadn't anticipated, didn't contemplate, and are as immensely grateful for it and dare not put any limits on it.
Awesome. Yeah, there is no limits. There's a scripture, and it's my show, so I can talk about the Bible despite what other people may say.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's in Psalms, and it says that when we delight ourselves in the Lord, it's 37:4, when we delight ourselves in the Lord, that He'll give us the desires of our heart. So I believe that whatever is in our heart and we do what the Lord says, He's going to put it together. And that's what happens, is that when you work in what God gives you, He's going to put the right people in front of you, and He's going to build the people around you that need you. Now, it is a bumpy road. Don't get me wrong, and I tell people, don't think that everything you see on the surface is always great in the background, but you learn. We all have to go through something just to get to where we are today, and it's a process. Nobody gets here overnight. I don't care what they say. No one gets here overnight. So know that it's a process, and that I can't stress it enough. It's possible. Dr. Johnny Mack, I haven't had the pleasure to speak with you too often, and as soon as you began to speak, my computer just decided to act up. I guess it's the power that's within these men that was mentioned. It's that power. It just shut me down. So tell me just a little bit about yourself and my audience about yourself, and what you see, or the road that we can take to follow the Men of Vision.
Well, I think that the most important consideration is collaboration. See, collaboration is a new concept. It's something that's different. As African Americans, we have a situation where we're known for a crab syndrome. We try to pull each other down instead of lifting each other up. And so what we find with this collaboration model is that it's so unique, it's so different, it's so nice. And what happens is we don't hate. We collaborate. We position ourselves so that we can lift each other up, leverage each other, and position each other to be able to reach the heights that we were meant to do. See, because individually, I'm awesome. Individually, Ed, John, Terrence, they're awesome brothers, and it's just a blessing to be connected. But together, we create what's called Menergy. We create something greater than just individually, than what we have individually. And so that process is what makes me be able to. These brothers have talked that in the last several months, this past year, they've been able to do leaps and bounds. They've been able to move forward at an accelerated rate. The Man Rise Up Project, we're talking about reaching 1 million brothers and giving them a platform to be able to expand their brand. We're talking about the Power Life Group that gives people an opportunity to strengthen each other and to strengthen themselves and to move forward in their dreams and goals. We're talking about the I Am Testimony clothing line and the individual clothing lines that are coming out of that Clothier's concept. We're talking about a stop. You see, when we got all together, Terrence is an accountability coach. He doesn't talk about that aspect of it, but he held me accountable, and he said, Johnny Mack, you're brilliant. You're wise beyond your years, and I agreed with him. But more importantly, he held me accountable to that. And he positioned me, Johnny Mack, to be all that I could be. So the Men of Vision is an acceleration agent that together we're able to take that energy, that strength, that uniqueness that's never been done before and create a village process that can take and bring the African American male community to the position of prominence that it deserves. I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to stop. You know, sex and sports are the two areas that have taught the European concept of competition to us as a community. Now, business is the new sex. Business is the new sport. So we operate from a position of collaboration there. If I can leverage Mr. Womack's business, if I can leverage the coaching skills of Coach Terrence, if I can leverage the Power Life, if I can leverage John McClung to be able to reach out and touch from a clothing position people around the world that puts a message on their chest, then I have created collaboration. And that is something, that's why we're on the show tonight, because that's something so unique, so new, so different, so exciting, so powerful that people want to know about it.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
And
well, I love the energy, and it gets you excited. It lets me know that, again, it is possible. And you talked about Terrence, and he's the accountability person that he didn't talk about. So Terrence, let's talk about your accountability. That is something I will say that is needed. If you do not have an accountability partner, if you don't have a mentor, you are doing yourself a disservice in your business, because you cannot do it by yourself. Now, I've tried to do it by myself, and it got me so far, but then I realized I had to reach out to his name. Actually, I met him through Ruben West. His name is James Johnson III. He has been, or is he the second? James Johnson, you know who you are. He was my life coach, and he helped me so much and allowed me to see more and to think openly, and we met every single week. Awesome man. If you don't have an accountability partner, get one and understand what they are. So why don't you give us some insight on that, Terrence?
Well, you know, the number one thing that men often have a problem with is we've been raised to have that mentality that says you've got to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You've got to be that self-made man. And because of that, we don't want to share our stuff with anybody else, for fear that they might take our stuff and get to the promised land quicker than we do. And so we either try to do it by ourselves and we fail, or we give up and never do it at all. And part of me coming up with the ideal of unstoppable coaching is I got tired of being stopped by myself. You know, you can't see the picture if you're part of the frame. And as an accountability coach, I allow you to see yourself outside of the frame. You know, when I interviewed John McClung for the first time on my show, I saw that he was more than just a clothier. I saw that he was literally a walking, talking testimony. When Johnny Mack came along and he helped me finish my book, I saw that he was more than just an author coach, but he was a man of clarity. He was a man of unspeakable knowledge. He was a master motivator with his wording. When I saw had the opportunity to be with Dr. Womack, I saw that he was not only tall in stature, but he was tall in the way he was able to share himself. And he wasn't so tall that he wasn't willing to reach down and bring other people up. And then, of course, I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Edward C. Williams more than 2.5 years ago, and he gave me my first opportunity to be on broadcast television because he was already doing a show himself down in Atlanta, and he was opening it up to any and everybody who was showing power in their life. So it was that collaboration. It was all those things that I saw in these other people that allowed us to gel, and we hold each other accountable. I have the tag as the accountability coach, but when I'm feeling down, somebody else in this group is going to bring me back up. When I think I'm not doing my best, there's someone else that sees something in me that I didn't even see in myself. When one of us is going through a challenge, all of us step in and help them resolve that challenge. Or if we can't resolve that challenge for them, we're there to support them. We're there with them. That's that accountability. And we don't let anybody in this group get down on themselves because of their situation. We've all had challenges throughout this year at one point or another, and some of us at the very same time. But each and every time we've been there for each other. We've made sure that we've checked on each other. We've made sure that if somebody was lacking here, that we brought up the slack so that everybody was able to move ahead. And that's one thing that I love about it. We haven't left anybody behind in the Men of Vision, and we're not leaving anybody behind in the communities and in the people that we're going to be serving in the future. You know, we just had this conference a couple of weeks ago, and we we helped 2 people right in the room, and that just left us all speechless. We helped a young brother who was searching for, I would say, the men of vision. He was searching for a way. He was searching for a different way, and we were able to pour into him, unbeknownst to him. He was there for a whole different reason, and he got a blessing. And then we were able to, on the other spectrum, we were able to help a brother who was in transition, who had all the physical trappings and from outward appearances looked like he had it all worked out, but he had a burning inside of him to do more, to be more. And he had a vision of doing what we were on stage doing at that time. And we were able to show him right then and there that he was already doing what he was seeking to do. That's what the Men of Vision is about. That's about showing collaboration. That's about bringing other people up, holding them accountable to not only creating their vision or implementing their vision, but making sure they turn that vision into a reality so that we can all be at the top.
Yes, there's a lot of room at the top. There's a lot of room at the top if you want to get there. Edward, I'm going to put you on in here. I had a question for you. Are you still with us? I just want to make sure you're still with us.
Oh, yeah.
There you are. Okay, I had a question for you. So they say you're doing broadcasting. What else are you doing that you're bringing to the Men of Vision?
Well, right now the TV show I was doing is not functioning right now, so I stepped away from that. But what I bring to the Men of Vision is humor. I make things a little lighter.
Okay.
You know,
always that.
Because we have to enjoy life. And
yes.
One thing I say, life is serious, but you seriously have to enjoy it also. And most of it just I really love the blessings and the experiences I've had there, because I didn't come from a lot of the stories a lot of people come from. Some people got some horrible stories. I didn't come from those stories. My parents, I didn't come from a broken home. Both of my parents was there. They still together after they've been married 57 years. They still together. So I didn't come from that background. I didn't come from abuse. I wasn't abused. Okay, but what I did come from, I came from a life of low self-esteem. I came from a life of low self-worth. You know, so I came from a life of just being trying to please everybody and not do anything for myself. And this was the thing. And then I read a quote one time that says, "I don't know what's the key to happiness, but I know what's the key to feeling better, trying to make everybody else happy." So when I read that quote, and I can't remember who said it, then I realized that I was not feeling my best. I wasn't feeling good. Now, people came to me all the time. I'm advising, I'm motivating people, boy, I'm jacking people up, and then going back to myself with my head down. Because I've given all I can to everybody else, but who's pointing to me? So then I started reading, and realizing that, and I read what David said in the Bible. We have to encourage yourself.
Yes.
And that's began my journey, and that's the journey that I spare to everyone I meet. Embrace your greatness and walk boldly into your own life, because you can't give what you don't have. You can't leave where you don't go. See, God doesn't call or qualify. He qualifies those who call. And every one of us, all 5 of us, have a different story. You know, everyone has a different story that relates to somebody in the room. Somebody in the room has the same story you have to have. Like I said, I didn't come from a broken family. I didn't come from an abused family. You know, no one in my family drank or smoked. My father is a preacher. I'm a PK, he's a bishop. So I came from that room, but still I came with what so many other people have, a desire to be liked. So we do things that we don't lack so we can get accepted. Then in the process, we find out we don't like ourselves. So that's not part of me. That's not who I am.
Right.
And until you become the person that you're supposed to be, then you can pour it to other people. And you know what? Get away from trying to be like everybody else. Be who you're supposed to be. People, they will respect you. They may not like you, but they will respect you. They will say, "Hey, you can't take that mess to him because he's not down with that." And
yes.
they'll know that. So, one of the things that I bring is authenticity. I bring transparency. And I don't bring that, I share it, because all these guys on this are transparent. I mean, we get on our mastermind calls, and people, some of the stuff they said in those calls, I mean, we had to erase the tapes. You know what I'm saying? We erased those tapes because this don't need to get out to nobody else. But that's what men need. Men need to be open. Women can be open with each other. They can tell each other their stuff. Men, we can't.
No, we can't. Don't let me. No, we can't. It'll be all over Facebook, Instagram, and everything.
But as men, you have to find somebody in your life that you can connect with and share with, because no one can carry a whole burden. No, I mean, all the stuff we carry. Sometimes and not to say that you are complaining, venting, but sometimes you just got to let it out. And you got to let it out to people who can understand you. Don't ever tell your problems to people who do not have the ability or the capacity to help you.
Yes.
Tell people your problems to people who can at the very least, compliment, understand you, and don't go off gossiping and hoping that, well, I'm glad it's you and not me, which we sometimes do that way.
Right.
But,
wow. Yeah. Well, that's something that's very important to know, is that you guys can come together. And another reason I wanted you guys on the show is because you guys have come together, and you all are showing, you guys are great examples of what it is to work together and how to work together. I know I'm going to have to talk to Johnny Mack more, because the way I'm talking right now, I'm scared to say words because this man is so powerful in his speaking. I'm watching my words very carefully. But I love what you all are doing, and the transparency of knowing that you all can go to one another when times are hard, because it is, as for females, as women, sometimes it's hard to go to one another, because as soon as we stop talking, somebody wants to go back and say something that to somebody else. So we can get into something else, but not everybody is like that. Before I go on, if there's anybody on that wants to type in a question and you have any questions, please feel free. We have some time to speak. We had all this technical difficulties, but things are going smoothly. Actually, things are more clear, I guess, because the sun is going down in my face, so I can see everybody a little clearer. So Dr. Womack, I want to bring you back up again. I want to talk about, I found you guys as the group because I was on your Periscope, and you guys were on your way to Biloxi. Is that the name of the city where you all were going to do a particular event? Was that your first event, and what is it that we are to expect? If I have you guys come to California, what is it that you will bring to Riverside County, California?
Wow. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what will go down if you bring us to Riverside, California. And that was actually the warm-up, the inaugural event of all 5 of us being together, and you would have never known it. It was so amazing. We had been conversing for months. 2 or 3 of us had been in the same place at the same time, but that trip to Biloxi just really solidified a couple of things. One, that the synergy that exists between us was the epitome of together, everybody achieving more. It was a team effort, and it was just natural. There was no scripting. There was no necessity to have to, aside from the programming that we had prepared, which came off even beyond our wildest expectations. But what we found when we arrived, because our mission was to develop content for men, and when we got to the conference in Biloxi, we were given a few opportunities to impart wisdom with the women, and they were like, we want more, we want more. And it was a very healthy and refreshing we want more. It wasn't about foolishness. It was about the sincerity, the genuineness, the transparency that they saw. And again, it was not about anyone trying to push one away or trying to do something offhanded. It was just natural. It was powerful. And the takeaway for all of us was, wow. So if we come to Riverside, California, tell them they better get some shades because the future's so bright with the Men of Vision, guarantee you, you'll walk away different than you came up into the place, and that's for sure. And that's not because we have all the answers. I think the real benefit was we purposely set out to make our sessions, whether they be planned or impromptu, we sought to make them interactive. We engaged, we were there, we were open, and it was just an amazing time for us as well. And I think one of the things that I want to share, if I can, is while we talk about the collaboration within our group, one of the real things that we want to do is be an example by sight and be able to spread this. And Coach T touched on it. It's like kiboshiing that crab theory, affording an opportunity, because if you can't be what you don't see. And our hope at the core is that as people visualize what we've been able to accomplish as a team, as a mastermind, as a group of men, we hope that we can replicate that. That's really and truly what we hope to bring to Riverside, California.
Now, let me ask you, and I'm going to go, well, I'll go to Johnny Mack. I want to make sure everybody gets some time. Are you all, I'm even thinking about something on the ends of the youth. What are you guys targeting the youth, or are you targeting adults?
So you want me to respond to that, or you want Johnny to respond?
Johnny.
You know, our target market is men. This is a new model for manifesting and maximizing manhood, and it begins at the youth level because model of competition. The model they have is a model that says, I've got to be better. So in order for me to be better, in order for me to shine, I got to destroy you. I've got to pull you down. I got to prevent you from moving forward. So yes, our collaborative effort is to reach out to the youth community. And we've already begun areas in that Ed and Atlanta are doing things to reach out to the youth. But that example, that role model, that standard, that new standard that's being set is coming from the most incredible thing about the whole Man and Men of Vision movement is that there's something so fresh and so new and so unique that nobody even understands it. Nobody saw it coming, and it just came in like a bullet. We were just in the way, and we get caught up in that whole process. And in moving forward, just as Dr. Womack said, we don't know exactly what it's going to be and what we're going to do, but we're allowing it to take us and to transform us into the transformative agents of change in our community that is necessary. Part of our community is the youth. You know, the thing is that the youth have become village idiots. They're doing things that are not nice. They're pulling their pants down. They're showing their butt. They're doing things that are not that we're not pleased with, and that are not germane to the growth of individuals. So as Men of Vision, as part of this transformative thought leadership, we want to place and to create avenues that will allow us to be able to move forward professionally and positively. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, so
clear.
In answer to your question, because I can get pretty verbose, as the brothers have said, but to go all the way around the corner and come back to the bottom line, yes, we want to speak to the youth. We want to speak to young men. We want to give them an avenue that they'll be able to leverage their lives so they can begin to see the homes and the cars and the big bang and the money and everything that they see in the negative aspects that are presented through culture, media, and other sources. And we want to show them that it's possible to be able to achieve those things through a positive avenue that benefits the entire collective. And so as a result of that, the Men of Vision are here to place ourselves up as not only examples, but to create a new paradigm shift.
Well, I think you guys are doing a great job thus far. I can't even imagine where you all are going, because I know it's somewhere definitely going somewhere. And with the energy that you all possess, with the just being powerful men in your own right of all that you're doing, I just think it's an awesome thing that you're doing. I'm very proud of all of you all. I know I just met you all, some of you all just recently, but I am excited. I'm excited. People know me, especially when our black men get together and they do something for the good. It's just an awesome experience, an awesome thing, and we're definitely going to talk off air more about what we want to do. I am a person of action. I used to say I'll do something, I never do it, but I tell you this, when it comes to things like this, once I say I'm going to do it, we book a date and we just make it happen. We'll fill in from there. We'll book the date and we'll fill in what needs to go there, but we'll talk because I definitely want you all to come out here and do something, especially for our young men. I have two. I have an 11-year-old and a 17-year-old that'll be 18 in a couple of weeks. But I know that my 18-year-old, both of my children are they're going to be some very powerful men. They are very, very powerful as it right now. So I definitely want them to be able to sit down and see what it is that you all are doing. So what I'm going to do is one by one, I want you to just, once again, just tell me about yourself. Tell us what you can do to help. And at the end, I'm going to have Dr. Womack let the audience know how they can get in contact with the Men of Vision. So I'm going to go individually. I know you guys are doing things collectively. If that's okay. Is that okay if I go individually of what you guys are doing?
Absolutely.
That's okay? Okay, I just want to make sure. I like to follow protocol and make sure I'm not overstepping my boundaries either. So I'm going to start with you, Terrence. I'm going to give you the floor to address the audience, whatever you want to leave them with, how they can get into contact with you, and then we'll end with Dr. Womack.
Well, thank you so much, Kama. I am Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Lethbridge, and I am a motivational speaker. I'm an accountability coach, and I am also a host of my own internet broadcast called The Next Level Living Show, where we talk to ordinary people like yourselves, like the ones who are watching right now, who are doing extraordinary things to live their life on the next level. See, we often in the media see people at the top, but we never see the story that got them there. And because media isn't concerned about that. But if it's one thing I know it's not the destination, but it's the journey where the story makes the difference. And so we want to not only showcase people at the top level in what they're doing, we also want to talk about the story of how they got there. Because there's a young Kama somewhere. There's a young Dr. Womack in the making. There's a young Johnny Mack that is about to be verbose and be magnificent, but they just don't know it yet because they haven't seen the model. So if I can showcase you and you show your journey so that that young person can see the model of where they can be, then I've done my job. So that's what I'm most proud about. I'm proud that I'm able to showcase other people. I'm proud that I'm able to collaborate with other great men like the Men of Vision. And I'm proud that I'm able in one small way able to get my message out to somebody that's going to literally save their lives. I help people create their visions. I help people implement their vision. But more importantly, I hold them accountable to making that vision a reality. Because I know we can do the first two things by ourselves. Many of you watching this broadcast right now have probably had that vision in your head. You've created it. And there's probably a handful of you that have put some steps together to make that vision a reality. But I dare say probably most of you, for one reason or another, has let life get in the way. And because life has gotten in the way, that vision has fallen by the wayside. And you're looking at taking it to the cemetery where dreams die. Well, I'm here to hold your hand as your accountability partner, to help you remember that vision, to help you remember the steps that you put in place, to give you the strategies to move forward, and to kick you in your assets if you need that as well, to make sure that vision becomes a reality. And you can reach out to me at unstoppablecoaching.com. Go to that website. You can also check out my latest book, I Am Unstoppable, the 11 Key Attributes to Living the Unstoppable Life. And there's also a link there to our collaborative Men of Vision book, Reclaim the Flame. And as always, Kama, thank you again for this time, and I definitely look forward to collaborating more with you in 2016.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Terrence. Thank you for what you're doing and what you're putting out there to help others. My hat's off to you. Johnny Mack, tell the audience, leave something, a little something with the audience, and what you can do to help them and how they can get in contact with you.
You know, I love what Terrence just said. In quoting Langston Hughes, he said, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly." Well, I help dreams to fly. I'm a publisher, I'm an author coach, and I will kick your butt and get that book out, because everybody has a book in them, but they're afraid. My latest book was, I've written 10, and one of the books I wrote was called Finish So You Can Start. And a lot of times we've done so many, we've started and stopped. I was listening to you earlier talking about you started and stopped. The books, the dreams, the aspirations, all these things that you were looking to do. So I help you to get that book. And I've discovered the algorithms for Amazon, so I can help you get it bestseller. I have a program called ABS, the Amazon Bestseller, or the Automatic Bestseller. I help you to get that into motion. I was an English major. As far as the formatting and editing and proofing, I can get your book so that it looks good and it makes you look good. Because let me tell you this, if you're an author, if you're a coach, if you're a motivational speaker, if you're a pastor, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in any of these transformational thought positions, you need a book. The book is not just to say, I'm an author. The book is a brochure that opens doors, that puts you on the stages, just like where we are right now. It puts you on the stages. It allows you to speak. It does back of the room stuff. So if you're listening out there right now and you don't have a book and you want to be that transformational thought leader, get with me. I can help you get that book out, and I promise you it's not difficult. I'm saying you can go from no book to being a best-selling author in 30 days or less. I'm working with some very powerful people right now. I'm walking away from a job that I've been on for 20 years shortly, so that I will be able to devote time to make sure that you can get that book out and you're able to move forward. So you can reach me at www.selfpublishedauthorsnetwork.com. selfpublishedauthorsnetwork.com. Leave me a coaching request. I'll give you a 30-minute consultation, and so I can show you where you are with your book and help you get to that next point as to whether or not you should actually even write it, or I can give you the cost to make it as inexpensive as possible so you get that book out there and begin to open the doors that will help you to get to that next level. You can reach me. My email address is askjmac2@gmail.com. And of course, you can follow me on Facebook.
Awesome. Okay, we'll make sure all that information is out there. Yeah, we need to talk. Definitely. All right, we are going to move over to Edward C. Williams, and he's going to, again, do the same thing, let our audience know how we can get in contact with him, and he's going to leave us with a little something.
Well, great. My name is Edward C. The Power Life Williams, and my company is simply Living the Power Life, the Power Life Group. But what we do is just simply get you to live the life that you really want to live powerfully, and that includes. I call myself an empowerment coach. I don't necessarily use the word life coach. I'm an empowerment coach. I want to empower you to live the life that you want to live in all 5 areas of your life. Because there's 5 areas, right? We got our personal life, our business life, spiritual life, family life, and we got our financial life. And you have to bring all 5 of those together to live a complete life. Because how many times have we see somebody with a lot of money, but their family life is gone, or is bad, or someone who has got a lot of money in bad health? So my goal and what I do is I have practical principles and good and proven principles that I work with people and say, hey, Get all 5 areas of your life together to live a power life. It has with motivation and spiritual and inspiring messages, and through my coaching. I do not let you go through life just going through life. When you're committed, I'm committed with you. And that's what we do here at the Power of Life Group. I have a youth program also. It's called Choosing Greatness as your destiny. Because I've heard people say, they're destined to be this or they're destined to be that. You have to choose your destiny. You have to choose where you're going in life. It just don't happen because you got up every day and expect it to happen. And we have to choose our path. If you don't set an agenda for you, people set one for you, and it will have nothing to do with you. So we teach people to set your own agenda, set your own path in life. It's not going to go smoothly. There will be some detours, and that's what we do at the Power Group. We help you get to those detours. We help you understand that whatever you're going through, you're going to get through if you just keep fighting through. All right. So, and I can be reached at EdwardCWilliams.com. It's EdwardCWilliams.com, and here on Facebook, EC Edward Williams Power Life. Twitter, EC Williams. That's Twitter. And reach out to me. My personal email address is williams.powerlife@gmail.com. Hit me up. Tell me what you think. I love communicating with people. So just want to call and say, hello, hey, I saw you. That's cool too. We'll do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I see my friend John is on and off. The little bit that I do know, I know he has a website called testimonyIam.com. TestimonyIam.com. I'm sorry, testimonyIam.com. Maybe Dr. Womack, if you know any information for him, maybe you can give it. Unless he joins us, if we do, we'll catch him while he's on. He has a great clothing line. I've been following it since, like I said, January of last year of 2014 is where I met him. He has been on my show before. He sent me a couple of shirts. And you know what's amazing? I was in church earlier this year, and someone else had on his shirt. And I thought, wow, I had to leave early. I want to talk to the guy. But you never know who you're affecting. You never know who's wearing your shirts and where it's at. But I thought that was amazing for him to be where he is and for this person to be where I am, and we're not even in the same state. He had on one of the shirts, and I was able to say, I know who manufactured that shirt and who created that shirt. So I think that was awesome. So you just never know who's out there and who you are affecting. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ed Womack.
Awesome, and amazing. This broadcast has just been so enriching and uplifting. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity. And Man Rise Up, it is about youth, starting in middle school all the way through middle age, and it's a dual-faceted program and battery of services because we serve in the community, we serve in schools, we serve in churches. We're about to launch a program to go into prisons. We've got a event coming up November 14th called From the Bottom to the Top, which is purely motivated to offset the African American dropout rate and to also address the recidivism rate of men returning to prison. And so we provide our marquee service, which is top-down coaching, which can be done either as an individual or as a group. We really want it for groups, and we want to have that sponsored and underwritten so that cost will not be the cause or the reason why we cannot reach out and extend and save some lives. And I am committed to doing just that because excellence is right around the corner. The top is entirely too wide open for more of us not to be there. Our absence at conferences, at community events, at areas where we are sorely needed is my mission. That's what keeps me up at night. So aside from the amazing collaboration that I have found with my men of vision, I so want others to experience the power of having a team that realizes that if we want to go fast, we could go alone. But if we want to go far, you got to take a team. And you got to be committed to that team and let each person be lifted, let each person be inspired, and let that be a cross pallet to take place wherever and as often as possible. As far as Brother McClung, he has been the outfitter for pretty much all of us on this mastermind right now. I believe he and Johnny Mack are working on the last piece to make sure that all of us are covered from an apparel perspective. You hit his website perfectly, which is testimonyIam.com. You can also catch Johnny on Periscope pretty regularly, and that would be periscope.tv/John McClung Jr., I believe, or if it's I Am Testimony. But I know he also has a number of different apparel projects that he's working on for the Black Belt speakers, so you can reach him on Facebook. Myself, as far as contact, you can go to www. In fact, because this has been such an amazing broadcast, I would like for people to go to www.manriseup.com, and there's a free gift waiting for you there to get launched, to get started, to get into the spirit of exactly what we've been talking about here tonight. And it's the ultimate guide to personal development, because I know men are not apt to come straight out and say that they got something going on. So you can do this one on the sneak. And it's totally free. So go to manriseup.com and download your free copy. You can catch me every Saturday morning on Man Rise Up Radio at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I know our team assistant is posted in the room, but I'll say it real quick. It's 347-989-8385 every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. And you can even join. I do it via Periscope as well, so you can connect with me on Periscope at periscope.tv/Ed Womack Speaks. And as far as the Men of Vision, we now have a Men of Vision movement group, which is a public group. So come on over. We'll be all collectively pouring into that site. And oh my goodness, you just have no idea the power that you will derive from the Power Life, from the I Am Testimony, from SPAN, from Unstoppable Coaching and Man Rise Up, all in one place, tossing all of our material, all of our services, all of ourselves into the effort of energizing, uplifting, and empowering our male population. And most importantly, to the point that you made, the inquiry you made, as far as our kids, we know that they're only 30% of our population, but they're 100% of our future. And we're doing everything possible to ensure that they have the necessary enrichment, empowerment, encouragement, tools, and services to help them move to become top-bound citizens in this society that we can be proud of. And we have the tools, the products, and the services, and the hearts, most importantly, to want to pour into them. So again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and we'll look forward to continuing to connect with you on the next time.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being on. You know what? We did get a question, and I want to make sure we get that before we end. The question sent was, what advice would you give to a man who is struggling because his partner doesn't support his vision? Before you guys answer, I'm just going to say this real quick, and I want you guys someone to answer. I was just doing this Periscope about this, and I was talking about the importance of communication. Somebody like me, I'm just like, if I had a man in my life and he wants to go after whatever, I'm just like I'm the biggest supporter in the world. But one thing I find is it's the way things are presented. People don't see what you see. They don't see that vision because it wasn't given to them. So even that person you're with, it is kind of hard. But coming from a woman's point of view, sometimes it's a little different depending on what it is that you're doing. It's how it's being laid out and how it's being told. Sometimes it can get a bit hard, but communicating is going to be very key, very important. Not getting frustrated, not arguing. Just keep bringing it up little by little, and trust me, after a while, we kind of wiggle a little bit and start listening. But who wants to take that question, or maybe if you all, maybe take a minute or two to address that question. If there's a man out there that's struggling because his partner doesn't want to support his vision, my question one would be, do you know if this person is a married man or a single man? Because to me that makes a difference as well. Married man's a little different. Single man, I got a different, but I'll keep that to myself for right now. Do you know if he's married or single, Edward?
No, that was just the question came to me. It was just like that. So, but I'll take the first minute, and since I'm already here. But the thing is, when you have a vision, like you said, the vision was given to you and not them. And communication is key. You got to communicate to them, as much as possible, how about the vision. Because here's the thing about a vision: you have no idea yourself how you're going to achieve it. So you really can't explain to people how you're going to achieve this, because you don't know yourself. And it's not our job to know. It's our job to pursue it, to go after that vision and that dream. But here's the thing. I think the biggest thing that you can do, the most powerful thing you can do when you're pursuing a dream or you got this vision, is to see it through. Is to see it through. Because if you quit or give up, then they can say, "Oh, I just knew it." But if someone's close to you and love you, and they see you toiling, they see you fighting through, they see you getting things done, eventually, at some point in time, they're going to, they may not grab the vision, but they will grab onto your energy. Because if you're excited about something, people get excited with you. But if you just, start and stopping, then they can say, well, then that they got something to point a finger at. They got something to say, you need to stop this. But again, my advice, and my last advice, is don't let anybody put a time limit on your dreams.
Awesome. Next, Dr. Womack, do you want to answer that question?
Of course I do. So first and foremost, one needs to seek first the kingdom of heaven for guidance with regard to whether or not they really and truly are walking in purpose as they pursue their vision. Is it merely a fly-by-night type of a thing, or is this really and truly something that their heart has been convicted of? And if in fact it has truly been meditated about, prayed about, and you believe that that it is indeed your calling, your vision, I would say pursue that. I'd echo the comment that Brother Williams made as far as communicate, but also adjust your own expectations, because the lenses that you wear with regard to your vision, they don't have that prescription. And it oftentimes those people that are the closest to us that offer the least support until we make it. And so I would suggest to whoever that caller is to first and foremost be prayed up, be lifted up, be in the company of individuals that are like-minded. And I'm going to go to a quote that I oftentimes refer to when I think about things along this lines, where it says to surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers, but most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. And that was by Edmund Lee. And I just encourage that the person who posed that question, have a talk in the mirror. I call it the mirror test, and look deep through the eyes of your soul, connect yourself with whatever higher being it is. For me, it's Lord Jesus Christ, to whom which I know my strength cometh. But you got to be true to who you are. You got to be true to what purpose God has have you walking in. And if you feel as though, and you've prayed, and you feel as though the unction has been imparted upon you, you can't fix other people. All you control is your reactions, how you communicate. And at the end of the day, if you're in alignment with what the big fella got for you, keep it moving. If you can't fly, walk. If you can't run, crawl. But whatever you do, keep it moving. That would be my suggestion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnny Magnificent Mack.
I have Mac.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, there's something called the spirit of the familiar, and that means that the person that you're in relationship with is familiar with your actions, with your follow through, with your follow up, with everything about you. And so, if that's for 2 years, 2 minutes, 36 years, like my wife and myself, there's a familiarity that develops between the two of you. So a lot of times when a couple when people in the relationship are not supporting you, or they look at you, they're looking at you from the lens of the spirit of the familiar. They're familiar with what you have done, what you will do, what you say you'll do and you don't do. So they have made a decision based on your personal history. So I think you have to do a fast, and that fast means that you have to forgive, that you have to apologize and say thank you. But in the process of that, you have to move forward and say, okay, what have I done? What in my background, what in my relationship DNA has caused me to be at the point where the person that I'm in relationship with, that I like, I love, I operate with, what would cause them not to buy into my vision? Is it something that I did? Are we in division now? Are we not walking together? Are we not tracking together? So you have to get clarity. And as the clarity coach, I would say, let's get some clarity. Let's find out what in our relationship would put us into a position where we can't track together, that you can't see me going forward. You can't see me doing the thing that I have a vision for. That you can't see me getting out of where we are from a comfort position and reaching toward writing a book, doing the thing that I want to do, and that's in my spirit, in my heart to do. And as the other brothers have said, you have to connect back to your relationship with your higher being. With me, it is the Lord Jesus Christ as well. When I look back and I say, Lord, okay, you birthed in me a dream, a desire to do this thing, and now I'm coming to my significant other, to my wife, and saying, hey, this is the dream that God has put in my spirit. So you have to ask yourself, what is your walk with the Lord? Because she'll submit to you when you submit to him. But a lot of times brothers want a woman to just submit because he's the man. No, the word says submit to you when you submit to him. And the problem, and I'm going to end with this, the problem that we have is the child wants to go around the mother and go to the father because she doesn't want to deal with the discipline. The mother wants to go around the man and submit to Jesus because she doesn't want to submit to the man. The man wants to go around Jesus and go directly to God. But Jesus, who's modeled it, says, I'm going to submit to my Father. And you follow the example that I've set. So we try to get around the person that's in the natural order of things. If that relationship is to prosper, is to grow, if that relationship is to be real and fulfilling, then those questions have to be answered.
Cama, you're still muted.
I'm sorry, I am still muted. I'm sorry. I'm just talking on my.
She was doing the Charlie Brown on the
Right, you're supposed to read my lips. Okay. So the person is married. So now that we know that person is married, what would be your advice? What would be your advice to a married person that's struggling and their spouse is not understanding their vision?
Well, I think, especially for a married person, you've got to do three things. You've got to be able to know, you've got to be able to tell, and you've got to be able to show. See, your spouse may be struggling with your vision because she doesn't or he doesn't know your vision, because you haven't successfully or effectively communicated your vision to that person. So in order for me to support something, I have to know something about it. Now, I want to be clear, I may not have to believe in it to support it, but at least I've got to know what I'm supporting. So that leads to the second thing. You've got to be able to tell your vision. And many times as men, we have a vision inside of us, but we don't effectively tell anybody about it. And again, that goes back to what I said in the beginning, that we're so closed in because we don't want that fear of someone stealing our vision away from us to occur, that we don't tell enough people about our vision. And that starts in your home. You've got to tell your spouse about your vision if you hope for your spouse to be able to support that vision. And then even after you tell them the vision, and even after they know the vision, a lot of our spouses are literally from the show me state. You've got to show me that you are committed to your vision before they jump on the bandwagon. It's just human nature. People want to know that you are going to be committed to something even if nobody else is. Because as I was doing in my meditation, I found this verse that really said something to me. Your vision was assigned to you by God, but it was left for you to discover. That means he didn't tell anybody else about your vision. He didn't tell anybody else about your assignment. He told you. And he told you when you were created at the very beginning of time. He put it deep inside of you for you to discover. And once you discover what that assignment is, then it's your job to follow through on that assignment by letting people know what that vision is, by telling them what that vision is, and showing them that you are committed to making that vision a reality. So if you are struggling with your vision right now, then ask yourself those 3 questions. Are you letting people know about your vision? Are you telling people about your vision? And are you showing people that you're committed to your vision? And if you're doing those 3 things, then sooner or later, they're going to see the vision created, and they're going to be right there with you if they were truly meant to be there with you in the beginning. And that's a sidebar that every man needs to understand in this journey called life. You know, Ecclesiastes 3 says there's a reason, season, and a lifetime. And that means not everybody is meant to be with you for the whole ride. Some of them are with you for a reason. Some of them are with you only for a season. And if that spouse, if that partner of yours is truly your helpmate, then she'll be there or he'll be there with you for a lifetime.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, I am like I said, a firm believer of support. One thing I will say is my answer, even though I know they ask you, my answer to that would, as Dr. Womack stated, the Bible tells you to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So if you seek God first before you go to your spouse, or even when you go to your spouse and they're saying no, continue to seek God and ask him where he wants you to go. If you're already working in that purpose, if that's your purpose and you're working in it, it's going to manifest little by little as long as you keep it going. Just like the 3 men with the talents, they went and they doubled it. The one put it aside. So if you want to put it aside, the one that was put aside, he said, get away from me, you worker of iniquity, I never knew you. So really pray about it, because if it's what God has called you to be, I guarantee you that it will manifest. And maybe this may be one of those rocky roads. This may be one of those experiences that you go through that you can share with other people. And your spouse just might be there to say, yes, I was against it, but this is what I've seen. And that's if you're in your word and you guys are men and women of God, and that's who you go to. If it's not who you go to, then I don't know what to tell you, but communicate and talk about it. Well, I want to say thank you all. Thank you all for being on Kama Speaks. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time, taking time out of your busy schedules. And I know you all are busy. Thank you so much for pouring into me and pouring into my audience as well. I look forward with working with each and every one of you, and even possibly doing some individual interviews to also promote what it is that you guys are doing. The beauty about entrepreneurship, you don't have to do one thing. Look at Steve Harvey. He's a talk show host. He is on the radio. He is a business owner. I mean, he's speaking. He's creating groups. And Dr. Womack, if you have not started a nonprofit, it looks like that's what you need to start, because there is plenty of money. I'm actually applying for some funds for my area right now, because there's plenty of money out there to help the youth. So anyhow, with that said, make sure you follow all these powerful men. They each have something for you. We got an author, those that I've talked to about writing books. I will be getting you guys the information and mentorships, the youth programs, everything is out there. It's for you. It's out there for you. Please don't say there's nothing out there, because as you see, we have a ton of stuff just here within our show. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget, for those that are local, October 23rd, I will be launching, next Friday, I will be launching my nonprofit, Loving Me First, something that that Edward C. Williams talked about. He talked about that not liking you. So the name of my nonprofit is Loving Me First, because if you don't love who you are first, you can't expect for anybody else to love you. So it starts with you. I'm already starting the youth program in the schools. I'm already doing some great events. Thank you so much. I'm already doing some events. I'm looking to bring some things to my city and to my community. So if you can't make it, I'm always taking donations. Just go to lovingmefirst.eventbrite.com. Tickets are only $25. Again, I'm taking donations, I'm taking ticket sales, and this is going to be a great night. I am excited. We only have 10 more days until this great, great event. All right, you all, with all that said, thank you for watching. And remember, no matter what you do in life, always pursue your passion.